Three, two, one. Hey everyone, this is Victor. I am here with Magda, and we're going to share her flipping story, how Magda earned 28% ROI on a flip for a 3-month period, or 4-month period, excuse me. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, Well, appreciate you joining me. I think you have a great story here, and I want to share it with everyone.
Sounds good, thank you.
So on this one, I'm going to do like a little bit different format. So we discussed it beforehand, and I think we're both more comfortable if I tell your story in more depth, and then if you chime in and say, hey, or add details. I just think we both said that would be more comfortable for both of us, right?
Sure, sounds great.
Okay, cool. So I usually start these off in terms of like your background. And for you, I think you're a full-time realtor, like you do real estate full-time in terms of realtor, representing buy side and sell side. And then I think just recently you started doing and getting into flips and like doing flips and getting involved in that sort of thing. Is that about right?
Yes, I've been a realtor about 4 years, and that was or it is still my full-time job or profession. And I was always looking and thinking to do some investing where I would want to buy properties and hold them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to move and buy my house, a small house. I was looking for some really inexpensive property for that time I needed. And that's where I moved. I renovated it. And about 2 years later, I decided there was a new situation to move away. And I found another good deal. So it turned out that original house that I bought and renovated actually turned into a really good flip. And I got really excited, even though it wasn't an intention for that house, but it turned out to be a great flip. So I was like, that could be interesting too. So that's why I was started to think about maybe looking into that as well. And yeah, that brings us to then to other things that we'll talk about. So we'll get there too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So, okay. So you did like a personal flip, like your own home, like fixed it up and sold it. Okay. And then you figured, well, why not do more of this? And I don't have to live in it every time.
Yep.
Okay, cool. That makes sense. And I know like when we met initially, I know when you're doing like your first flip, it's always a leap of faith. It feels like you're getting into it. And so it's like, oh, this is so new. You know, what if it doesn't go right? What if something happens? And with regards to that, like your frustrations with real estate, I think you were pretty good. Like you're obviously a realtor full time, so like you know how to run numbers, but maybe like the repair estimates were a little bit different, just because that's not so much your forte.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, I was basically just a realtor, which I enjoyed, and I guess that helped me in the numbers part. But I didn't know how to find the contacts, how to find the deals, besides looking at MLS or Zillow or so. And then by just selling one house, I met Eric from the
Neighbor
neighborhood
acres, yeah.
group. And so I didn't know who he is, but I just, was interested what are they doing on the street, and we talked, and he invited me to the group, which was super exciting to me because I was like, this is what I actually needed to get in contact with somebody to get just more information and kind of broaden that network and get more ideas how it works and everything. And that's actually where I met you as well. And that's where I think that was one of the first major shifts in getting closer to this idea of actually flipping becoming a reality for me as well.
No, that's fantastic. Yeah, that's how we met. There's like a local group here for all like Alachua County. Pretty much Alachua County. It's like a RIA. It's like a meetup group for, I think it's in Newberry, but just close here. So that's how we met. Okay, perfect. And okay, so we did that group. You're doing realtor stuff full time, and eventually got this flip. I'd love to talk about this flip in some detail. I don't think for this one, you didn't actually get it on MLS. like you're typically used to. I think you found it off market. You found and worked with somebody and got it that way in
Right,
terms
this
of that
one in
deal.
Alachua, this current one?
This Alachua one, the one you're working on right now.
Yes, and because, yes, that was actually from that group where I guess in the Neighbor Makers, I've been now about a year and a half, and I've been listening to everybody, what they do, how they do it. I was, you know, sharing obviously what I could, if my information can benefit somebody as well. And I met some wholesalers there, and then in our Facebook group and stuff. So when it came to the time when I gathered some finances and stuff now in spring, I started to bug everybody and, you know, just, hey, you know, I'm looking for something small. And I was kind of keeping in touch with several of them and waiting for that right deal for me. And that's how I got this deal, that I kept in touch with people and just was waiting for what will be the right deal for me.
That's perfect. Yeah, that's a great way to find deals. Like if you build a network, and then as soon as someone finds something, they'll think like, oh, hey, Magda was looking for something. I'll send something to her to, you know, as a potential deal. So you found this one off market, which is great. Yeah, I'd love to talk about it. And if numbers, if you're comfortable with me sharing that.
Sure.
Okay, cool. So this is actually a mobile home. So like a little mobile home. And I flipped a couple mobile homes, and I just flip anything. I pretty much, you know, houses, condos, townhouses, mobile homes. So this is a mobile home. And if I recall, like you bought it at 42, and you're like kind of still figuring out the repairs, but like 18-ish for
Yeah,
repairs. Yeah.
that's right.
And then selling at about 87, and it's on the market now.
Yes, it
Okay.
just became active yesterday, so at
Okay.
87.
Well, fingers crossed. Hopefully it
Thank
goes
you.
under contract soon. Yeah, I remember looking at the numbers. Like everything looks good in terms of the numbers. You did a great job on the place. It was one of those more simple flips where there's not that much going on. Like it was pretty good condition from what I saw before pictures and all that stuff. But it was like paint, flooring, I think a new kitchen, and like little minor things, and it was good to go. Like it was just a little bit outdated.
Yes, definitely. The flooring was the main thing. Some smaller repairs in flooring as well. New kitchen, new appliances, and then vanities in bathrooms and toilets, because that was kind of sad looking as well. But the major things, like you said, the house itself has a good bones, and there was a metal roof and fairly new 2018 AC, so it was really good.
Okay, cool. Well, that makes it easy. And I think it took you about like a couple weeks or about a month, 3-4 weeks to do the
Yeah,
renovations.
just about 4 weeks to really from start to finish.
That's really good. And I remember because I actually looked at that property because it's somewhat close to me. I saw it, I guess, a couple days ago, and yeah, it looked really nice. And it's a fantastic property. Like when you're inside, you almost forget it's a mobile home. You know, like it's so nice. It's like, am I in a, you know, am I in a house? Because it is, you know, it's nice. I don't know how else to put. I can't put it in words, but
It
it's a
is.
nice place.
It is. Yeah, I try to stick to like numbers and budget, but at the same time, I don't wanna like cut corners or do some
Hmm.
cheap work, and I want to make sure, you know, that I would be happy to be there, not forever probably, but temporarily.
Hmm.
But you know that, you know, you need to take some pride in it as well. So
I think so too. Yeah. Like you have to be like when you sell it, you want to have a good feeling about it. Like,
yes,
yes,
exactly.
I'm happy I sold this, and the next owner is going to have a great time with it. Not like I sold them this piece of junk, and now they have to deal with it.
No, I
You don't
couldn't.
want to do that. Yeah. So that's spot on. Yeah, I remember when we were there, we talked about like some lessons because I know you did this flip, and it sounds like you want to do future flips as well. Like this is just the first of many, and you'll eventually start doing more. But some of the lessons I remember, you did a great job, but there's always ways to improve. Like even me at my level, like there's ways to improve on each one. So I think if I remember, do you remember any of the lessons or anything that comes to mind?
Yes, I on this one I definitely learned a lot more like practical things. And that would be to maybe space out certain jobs a little more apart.
Mm-hmm.
I know that nobody wants to give too much time and just kind of wait and then nothing's happening, but I was running into some issues that the contractor didn't show up for a day or two because they
Oh.
had some emergency somewhere else. And then my other things were coming in, but they couldn't come in unless some other part was done. Same
Mm-hmm.
with staging and or cleaning and stuff. So kind of the timing, I think I would give to, especially the main construction part, I would probably give more leeway.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know, I would probably try to again improve the numbers a little bit more. I'm very happy with it,
Mm-hmm.
but I guess there's always a room for improvement. So
I think that's about right. And like your numbers are good. Like you're going to make a profit. Again, we said like it's about 28% ROI on your money in 3-4 months. Like, so if you keep doing that and keep reinvesting that, I mean, you can't be mad at that. And
right.
the fact that you're making money is a good thing. You know, you can always do another deal as long
Yeah.
as you're making money. And I've made that mistake too, unfortunately, like the buffer, like you have painters and like the very next day in the morning, the flooring people. And that's just an example, but I've done it that way. And like the painters take a little bit longer and then it messes everything up and it's a whole chain, you know? So it's like everyone gets messed up and everyone's mad. So I've made that mistake too.
Mhm.
It's just one of those things. So I always like to give like a couple days buffer.
Mhm.
Um, and it doesn't feel great because it feels like things take time and there's like holding costs. I'm impatient in that sense where I want it to be done fast. I want it to be done
Right.
yesterday, but I've made that same mistake, unfortunately, with the buffer. I wish I told you about that earlier. I'll leave it
Yeah,
with
that's
that.
okay. I thought I gave them enough room because they told
Hmm.
me it's gonna take about 2 weeks. So I was like, okay, so I'll give them a few extra days and stuff. But well, it took them at least 3 weeks, So it just depends, I guess, who you work with too, and you need to get to know them and their estimates as well.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, that's a part of it too. Like you get to know the people and see what their work pace is. Yeah, so I'm with you there. Okay, cool. So it sounds like, I mean, it sounds like a good flip. You're going to be making money. You want to do more flips, so that's fantastic. And just let me know in regards to any other flips. Like I'm happy to help you run numbers, just as always, just as we have been doing. With that in mind, would you recommend others work with me?
oh yes, definitely, definitely. You've been so helpful to me. I take it as a not only as a friend but as an asset in this kind of work in this field. Like I said, I do understand a little bit of numbers, but you have so much more experience with these flips, particularly. So I think to me it was very helpful to discuss also numbers, just where I would feel or ensure myself that I'm in the right, where I am. Because once it's something your own, it's a little different. It's more like subjective. So
Hmm.
if I do numbers and CMAs and, as a realtor for somebody else, I'm pretty confident. But if something changes and you do it for yourself, sometimes you kind of question yourself. So I like to discuss it with you. And then definitely helpful tips on, it helped me with some budgeting and some kind of ideas on repairs or how to save money, or I wasn't sure about the kitchen, if to redo it or just, do some touch-ups or the appliances and stuff. So that was very helpful. And I think also at your class, I've learned, I haven't finished it all yet. I got really busy, but
Hmm.
I really, really liked the concept because I do a lot of reading. I see a lot of different videos and websites, or I've done that before. And I like that yours is really to the point. It's packed with information. It's very simple that people can understand it. It's not a rocket science, and you really get to the point. If topic is how to get a deal, you say, you do this, you do that, you do that. There are some couple scenarios that can happen, this, and you kind of give advice on each scenario and stuff. So it's really, really extremely helpful, and I would recommend everybody to not only work with you but also use the class because it's really, really a huge asset to anybody who wants
Well,
to do investing and flipping.
well, it's fantastic. I appreciate the kind words as well. And then why should someone listening take action?
Because without action, there are no results. That's very simple.
There we go. Well, I like that. That's a good way to put it. That's a really good way. I haven't heard that before. I like that. I really like that. Okay, well, perfect. Well, again, I appreciate you taking the time. I think your story is valuable for, I mean, for your own sake, but for everyone's sake, and I think people can get a lot of inspiration out of it. So again, appreciate you taking the time. This has been fantastic. Any final thoughts? Any final words as we wrap up here?
Um, right now in my head, I don't think I have anything else to add.
Okay, cool. No, I think you did a great job. Perfect. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate you taking the time and seeing everybody.
Thank you for having me.